Recital. I'll do a very brief introduction, and then Dr. Lyons will read you the CLP statement. They will tell you all about themselves, but this is Hsieh and Vanna Tsiknias from East Zodiac Music. They are Furman alum. They graduated in the class of 2021, which was my first year, which feels a little weird. They've been out of school for 5 years. But they've done a ton of work since they graduated in only 5 years. They've played their senior recitals here with Dr. Hamilton. So it's a good look into what you can do in the music field and different options. And just connection. It's always nice to meet, alumni from your school who are sitting in the same seats as you.
All right, so CLP events are part of the university's Cultural Life program, which provides opportunities for students to participate in a variety of educational and enriching cultural experiences. Through these events, students encounter a spectrum of issues, ideas, opinions, and artistic expressions from various disciplines and cultures. CLPs invite meaningful dialogue, leading to a healthy understanding of and respect for differences. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the university. All participants are expected to display respect for the presenters, performers, and audience members, keep an open mind in the presence of new ideas and opinions, and conduct themselves with civility. In turn, all presenters are also expected to encourage productive and responsible conversation consistent with the mission and values of the university. Before each event begins, please silence your electronic devices. Let's welcome East Zodiac Music.
Back and relax. So, thank you so much for Dr. Perspective, Dr. Lyon, and the Amplify School and Furman Music for having us here. It's always great to be back home. This is like, it's been lots of time here, so it's very interesting to be on this side of the stage. So, yeah, we're East Zodiac. We're a nonprofit that highlights Asian music and the composer. So today we're giving you a little presentation about some of the Chinese history, music, in terms of also instrument notation, and a little bit about what we do. So like I said, my name is Samuel. I'm currently a graduate student studying clarinet at the University of Michigan.
My name is Vanna. I'm a band director in coastal DC area.
Yeah, and this is our other co-founder. His name is Hsieh. He's a composer and cellist based in Pittsburgh. So this is kind of the team that we are. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what's going to happen today, and then we'll take the show on. So I'm going to do a little bit, like I mentioned, the history of Chinese music, and we're going to move into some of the instrument notation. We're going to have an interaction that I'm going to do with you guys. And then I'm doing little performances of a piece that we commissioned as one of our projects. Then we're going to pivot into talk about the works that we do as East Zodiac, as well as why it's important for us to do. You guys ready? Okay, so who here has played any Chinese music or Eastern music before? Raise your hand. I've heard of any of them. A little bit? Okay, great. Yeah, so music's been around for a very, very long time. So a long time ago, according to the Chinese mythical legend, that this emperor really wants to mimic the sound of the Fenghuang, which is the phoenix. So he had this guy go into the woods and cut down these bamboo. And it's like, okay, cut the pipe to the link to mimic the sound of the birds. And that's what they say music came from, according to the Chinese legend. No actual written music was documented until the Shang Dynasty from 1600 to 1045 BC. And surviving instrument from that time period, really we only see is the instrument made out of sturdy materials. So things like the gong that's made out of metal. Right? So that was when the record of when music was being seen, actual written music was not seen until the next dynasty, the Zhou dynasty. And it's within this famous book called the Jing. So in this book, it talks about major events that happened during this dynasty and documentation, references to music being used a lot of time for pleasure in core activity. So that's when we really see music being written music being dropped down. Now you might think why am I going through so quickly with this? Why did I not mention it anymore? Well, unfortunately, this emperor, his name is Hsieh, he did this very thing very important during the Chinese history. He did a book burning. So a lot of the documentation about early Chinese history, music, or anything related is actually destroyed, so we don't see as much that we could. But what we do know in that time is during the Confucius temple that two types of music were being performed. So one is called Yue, which is the banquet music. So this type of music is what you see in court being used for pleasure. The other one is called Yue, which is more used for ritual performances. So that's kind of the two types of music that you see during this time. Now we're going through Chinese history really quick right now. So we're in the 1050 BC. Now we're in the 1st century. So you're flying through 1,000 years of Chinese history. So follow along with me. So in this 1st century, we see the introduction of Buddhism from India. So with this time, a lot of the port city along the coast of China start opening up to doing trades and activities. So you see people coming in. And what's really important during this time is there's two specific instruments that was introduced that become a very staple Chinese instrument. One is called on the left, and then one is called Hongzhu on the right. So this one is more like a lute instrument. So these are things that are being introduced during that time. Oh, and I forgot to mention it earlier. Music that was being played this time, we see people performing in chorus and lively, ha-ha, butterfly, sunshine, and rainbow. But then there's also folk music being passed down, kind of like oral tradition. Talks about more like the real of the life, the sad and the sad part of that life. So that's also pretty important. slavery, taking captives and people. So what he did was he took a lot of these people, particularly a lot of female, to have them hold them captive and tell them, hey, you belong to me now, and you're going to become a court musician and play. So oftentimes we see a lot of these captives end up being court musicians, and oftentimes female. And also with the introduction and trades being open, we also start seeing what we call kind of like a Western tradition. So females start doing a lot more different makeups and playing these instruments that we mentioned earlier that have not seen here this time. Okay, so with all that new people coming in, lots of cool things, right? Oh yeah, okay, we're good. Lots of new people, chaos is like arising. There's all these new ideas. During this time, in the Song Dynasty, the emperor is like, okay, we need to figure out what us as China, what we want and what we believe in, so more like a nationalism idea. So with all these inspiration and different traits with different countries, now this is the time period where they really unify and figure out, okay, these are the type of instruments that we want to use in the Chinese court, and then these are the music that we want to perform during this time. So that was very important. Another instrument that was also introduced during this time is called the huqin, which later on you'll see another variation of this. And this became a staple along with the other two instruments that I mentioned as part of Chinese band. And this is introduced by the Friends of North, the Mongolians. Great. So we have a lot of music being played with instruments. We also see a lot of theater starting to become very popular in songs. So this became a rise of the popular public theater. So in here, I'm going to mention two of these things that's very important. One of them is the Southern Nanxi, and then the Northern Zaxu. So I'm going to give you a quick explanation of what each of these are, and I'm going to watch a little clip. So Nanxi started as a combination of song played with local folk songs and ballets. So this is a reaction of, use different kind of languages. So in a Western equivalent of this, think about more like an opera. So they do singing along with the music. So that's the Southern Nanxi. So now the Northern Zaxu, this is a form of Chinese opera that provided entertainment through a reactions of poses, poetry, dancing, singing, and mime. And it focuses the emphasis on happy ending and comedy. So a Western equivalent of this is kind of like a musical. So that's kind of a way you can think about how these are. So we're going to watch little clips of each of them, and then we're going to talk about them. So first, we're going to watch the Nanxi. Now we're going to do the other one, the Northern Zaxu, so the equivalent of a musical.
Versus the East, just to give you a bit of background. So we're going to start with Gregorian chant from the very beginning, which was the liturgical music of the Roman Catholic Church during the medieval period. So at this time, the music was really being passed down orally, and as the the need for standardization grew. That's where the early forms of notation kind of came in. So you may have heard of Guido of Arezzo, maybe, yes. So he's kind of the one that was credited with creating the 4-line staff, which later evolved into the 5-line staff, which is, of course, what we use today. And so then we got things like treble clef, this fast forwarding a lot, but treble clef, bass clef, half notes, whole notes, things like that. And then also we have Western music emphasizes harmony, and it's based on major and minor scales, and then the famous 1-5-4-5 point chord. And then in the East, so for them, each region has developed their own sort of notation system. And so, for example, in China, they have their system called Jiangpu. Jiangpu. And so it's a system based on numbers. So it's for the diatonic scales 1 through 7. So, for example, 1 is do, 2 is re, and so on. And for them, they use the pentatonic scale, which you might know. And the rhythm is much more fluid because they use a lot of improvisation. So.
Great. So now Vanna can explain how to read that kind of Jiangpu. We're going to do a little interaction. We're going to have everybody one by one come on the stage and sing a little line for us. On the stage. We're going to do it together. You didn't know we were getting a test today? So, no, we're good. So, well, we are going to do it together, okay? So, a quick explanation of it. So, like Vanna mentioned, we're going to use C here as our number 1, and you go 1 to 7. On this left side, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on the right side, you'll see that we have different lines that help tell us different note length. So a whole note, you see at number 5, and you have 3 lines next to it. That means you hold it out for 3 more beats. You also see there's lines underneath the number. That means the notes are shorter. So 1 line means it's the 8th note, 2 lines mean 16, 3 lines mean 30 seconds. Got that? And then whole notes are rests are represented by the number 0. And then the same applies for reading the rhythm. Last thing, when we don't see any dots on the numbers, that means we're just staying in the given register. So let's use C4 as an example. So this will be C4. If there's a dot above the note, that means the octave above. So C5. If there's a dot below the note, that means it's C3. So 2 dots, 3 dots, that's how you move with the different octaves. Make sense? Thumbs up? Great. We're going to try it. So, I'm going to read it right now. So I purposely didn't give you the title of this piece, but based on the first 2 measures, everybody should know. So, this is our C. So we're going to sing in numbers too. So 1, okay? I'll give you 4 beats and we start. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 1, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 5, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. Yeah, give yourself a hand. Nice job. Okay. Raise your hand. Anybody can tell me what song that is? Raise your hand. Anybody? Go ahead.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Yeah, you got it. Here. You get a prize. Come on. Come on. You gotta pay attention, right? You never know what's gonna happen. There you go. Congratulations. Yeah, so this is a Chinese dress envelope that we give out during Chinese New Year, and it symbolizes good luck, good fortune. Sometimes there's money in it. You never know. Okay, so that one was pretty easy. We're gonna do a little bit harder one now. You get one more. So here's another chance. Okay, so this one we have different dots and different lines, right? So remember, lines mean 1 line means 8th note. Dots replace the octave, right? So C is still number 1. We're gonna start on the 5 below, which is 5. So we're gonna go 5, 1, like that, okay? Give us 3 beats coming on B4. 1, 2, 3. 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 7, 3, 5, 5, 6, 7, 1, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1, back from the 60s. It's called Moon Represents My Heart. So it's a very easy tune. But this gives you a little example of how to read, this jianpu, this Chinese music. So congratulations, you're all certified to play in Chinese band now. Congratulations.
Okay, so now you've learned how to read the music, so now I'm going to take you through some of the common instruments that you'll see in this culture. So the first one's called the erhu. It's a two-string instrument. So er means two, and then hu, it refers to the shape of the instrument. It's referred to as the Chinese violin. It's got a 3-octave range, and it's been an integral part of folk performances, operas, and imperial banquets throughout the dynasties. And it's played vertically, the tip of the neck facing the heavens when you play it. The body is made of rosewood or red sandalwood, and a fun fact is the front is made of snakeskin. And then also the bow is made of horsetail hair, and it's placed within the strings as opposed to being on top of the strings, which is kind of cool. So you'll see that in the video clip that Sam will play. So you can see the bow is, it's between the strings there. And I forgot to mention, I'm taking you through 4 different sort of families of instruments. So we've got bowed strings, plucked strings, woodwinds, and percussion. So I'm going to give you one example of each of those. So the next instrument we have is called the pipa. And so it's a 4-silk string plucked lute, and the name refers to how you play the instrument. So pi means to play forward, and then pa means to play backward. It used to be played horizontally like a guitar, but musicians started to pluck it with their fingernails, and so then they started to hold the instrument in a more upright position, as you'll see here. And then the body is also made of rosewood, sandalwood, or mahogany. So that's the pipa. The next instrument is called the Hsieh, which is an open-hole flute made of bamboo. It's got a range of 2 octaves. It first appeared in the Han Dynasty, and practitioners and poets say its sound resembles the sweetness of the phoenix's call. So here's a clip of the Hsieh. Which is a barrel-shaped drum that's got 2 animal skin heads. This dates back to the Northern Wei Dynasty, and it's been used in many places like theatrical performances, Buddhist rituals, Confucian rites, and you can read the rest. And it's also used as a signal in wartime. So here's a video of the tangu. So now you've learned a little bit about the instruments that are used in this culture, and now I'll tell you about about the modern orchestra. So it emerged in the 20th century. It kind of combines these instruments with Western instruments to sort of bridge those cultures. And then, lastly, a fun fact, the Central Philharmonic Orchestra was established as one of the first large-scale orchestras in 1949. So it really wasn't all that long ago. So here's a video of a modern orchestra. Are used in modern ways, like in movies. So I don't know if you've seen the movie Kung Fu Hustle. Has anybody seen this? One person?
Really?
Okay.
I love that movie.
So there's a scene where the village is being taken over, and you'll see these people, they use their instruments as sort of combat. So it's just a fun way, the erhu, the pipa, and the, you want to pronounce that? That is also being used. So you'll see how they use their instruments as a way of Zodiac. So instead of hearing us talk for another 3 minutes, we're going to let this video explain to you kind of like the mythological story of how the Zodiac animal came about.
Was the night before Chinese New Year, and all through the lands, not a creature was stirring. Except for the rat, cat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig, and very much every single animal in the lands, as they were all preparing for a race. The Jade Emperor, ruler of the heavens, called for all the creatures to participate in a race on his birthday. He decided the people of China needed a way to measure time in 12-year increments. So the first 12 winners of the race would each win the honor of getting a year named after them. The race would be a long and arduous one, passing through a densely wooded forest and a wide river. Cat and Rat were friends and agreed to win the race together by cleverly asking the strong and kind ox to give them a ride, promising to finish after ox won. As they were crossing the river, the cunning rat pushes the cat into the water. Then, when they neared shore, Rat jumps ahead and wins the race. Ox comes in a close second. Tiger, the king of all creatures in China, struggled with the strong currents, but finally made it across and became the third zodiac sign. Lucky Rabbit hopped across as the fourth, saying she found rocks and boulders to take her across the waters. The powerful and mystical dragon was the favorite to win the race, as he can fly. As he whizzes past the finish line, he explains to the Jade Emperor that he has stopped to make rain to quell a dangerous fire. This kind act pleases the Emperor, and he gladly designated the dragon the fifth zodiac sign. Soon, thunderous hooves are heard, as Horse is about to finish the race. Snake jumps out, having secretly hitched a ride on Horse's hoof. Startled, Horse raised back on her hind legs as Snake slithers across the finish line as number 6. With a snort, Horse crosses in at 7th place. Meanwhile, Sheep, Monkey, and Rooster help each other along the race. At the river crossing, Rooster spots a rat, and with lots of pulling, tugging, and paddling, they all manage across the waters. The Emperor, pleased to see this great team effort, honors the Sheep 8th, Monkey 9th, and Rooster to 10th zodiac signs. With a bark, Dog bounds across the finish line as number 11. Such a strong runner and swimmer, he finishes after some of these slower creatures because he couldn't resist playing in the water. Last but not least, Pig trots over and is designated the 12th and final animal. The emperor asks Pig what took him so long, to which Pig replies, I got hungry and stopped to forage for food. Then after eating, I got sleepy and took a nap. Thankfully, I woke up in time to finish the race. Everyone laughs and then celebrates their honors as the 12 lucky signs of the Chinese Zodiac. Hey, but what happened to Cat? Cat nearly drowned after her friend betrayed her. By the time she made it to the finish line, festivities were already underway. Bitterly, she vowed to forever hate the rats, and this is why cats chase rats and are forever enemies. The end.
Oh, so that gives you a little, this is a mythological story, so there's very different variation of how the story came about. Different countries also have different animals, like for Vietnamese people, cat is actually, he did win the race in one of the spots. So, but they did a good job, we should just have them come to the presentation.
Okay, so as Sam gets set up to play, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we came about as an organization. So basically, Sam was searching for some graduate audition repertoire with Asian influence, and he realized that that there was not much out there. So he had the idea of commissioning a piece by a different Asian composer each year based on the Chinese Zodiac calendar. So then he reached out to me, and he reached out to Hsieh, who we obviously went to Furman, and then Hsieh he knows through a summer music festival. And so, yeah, we come together every week through Zoom. You'll see the picture on the left. And yeah, that's a little bit about how we got started. And we're now in our 3rd year of Zodiac, so we started in 2022. So, yeah.
I'd like to invite Dr. Hamilton up to join me. So this first piece I'm playing is, well, this only piece I'm playing, not first piece. This piece I'm playing is our first commission piece that we did back in 2023. It's for the Year of the Rabbit. It's by our friend Christopher Wen. Go to the next slide for me, go see the picture. Yeah, there we go. So this piece is 2 movement. It kind of does a depiction of a bunny in the springtime, as well as also a bunny going through a harsh winter. So it was originally written for E-flat, clarinet, and piano, but you don't want to hear me play like E-flat screaming for 15 minutes. So we transposed it for B-flat.
Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit, right? Some high G's, you know. Sometimes like, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna let Vanna take over. Yep, we're good.
Okay, so you heard that piece, Year of the Rabbit, that we commissioned in 2023. So a little bit more about what we do and what we've done. Well, first of all, our big event of the year is our premiere concert. That's when we present the piece that has been commissioned by that year's composer. So in the top left, that's our team from last year's concert from the Year of the Dragon. And then the top right is all of our performers that played. And that was actually the first time that our team had met in person. So I had never met Sean before in person, just seen his face on Zoom. So that was fun to meet him in person. Another thing we do, we apply to lots of grants. We do a lot of fundraising, donations. So we were selected as one of the few projects at University of Michigan for the entrepreneurial program called the Accelerator Program. And so they provided us with a lot of mentorship and guidance and also financial support. So through them, actually the top picture in the middle is one of the workshops that we did with them. And then the bottom picture is we went to the Yale Innovation Summit at the Yale School of Management. And we were able to meet organizations like us, share our mission, and that was a really cool opportunity for connections. And then we also do lots of outreach. So on the bottom right, we're doing a performance at a local library. We also performed at the Michigan Taiwanese Student Association and the Chinese Student Association. So that was just a few cool things that we've done in the past few years.
So we now you kind of get an idea like the things that we do, but what I want to talk about kind of like the reason why we do it are all these things. Like I said, you know, I came here, studied clarinet, and then went on to study more. But as I also had a lot of opportunity last year. Which I'm going to back with you earlier. I was doing stage managing. I worked in the front office. You know, a lot of stuff that diversify my kind of portfolio when I do it. So one thing that when I was in school that I was telling myself, you know, if I never got like a playing job or like playing, if I wasn't good enough, if I start doing these other stuff, it means I wasn't like good enough. But that's actually not the truth. You know, doing things like these, like presentations, and be able to go out to have communities and events like this takes a lot of different types of skill, and it's also different ways where we can enhance the musical journey that you're having. Obviously, yes, stay in your classroom and practice is very important, but there's more beyond, I believe, than just practicing your instrument. There's through this opportunity, like you can see, this left bottom is the poster for our coming up for our concert. So it's coming up in 3 weeks. Like Vanna mentioned, we're in our 3rd year's operation. The first year of that piece that you just heard me play is for B-flat clarinet and piano. Last year we commissioned a piece for B-flat clarinet and alto saxophone, and then this year the piece is for B-flat clarinet, bass clarinet, and baritone. I just want to mention this piece really quickly. The composer, her name is Mikio Amiyazawa. She's a Japanese immigrant composer based in New York. She's a 7-time Grammy-nominated composer. She owns a big band, jazz band in New York. So she used jazz influence and then Asian music and mashed them together. So it's like the coolest thing ever. So this piece I'm working on right now, there's like some blue licks in there, and there's also using like pentatonic scale. Just really, really cool, and it's a really good way to play different type of music. And throughout this whole process, we also do something called consortium that we stand in the middle. Through consortium is kind of one thing we learned through our accelerator program in Michigan is oftentimes a piece is being premiered or being performed. It gets performed that one time, and it gets put away. But what our organization believes is that we want to introduce more of these music that you heard through the history, soundscape, to the Western culture, to let people know that there's more options out there. Music's being made everywhere in the world, so that when you're looking for pieces to program for your recital, or you're looking for something for auditions, to know that there's music out there for you to play. So that's kind of what this idea of consortium does. So people can join in with a low cost amount that you can have exclusivity rights to perform. So with that, it makes sure that the piece lives throughout, even just beyond the premiere. This last poster you see is kind of some of the events that we have done before. So this is a fundraiser event that we did at University of Michigan partner with local businesses, Asian-owned businesses, restaurants, and offer foods to the university's students, and it's in a way to like introduce different food from different culture for them. So that's a really good way for us to like raise some money. Well, like I mentioned, we have a premiere concert that's coming up in April in Michigan, in Ann Arbor. You're more than welcome to come in person if you can get there. But I know it's far from here. So for this South Carolina tour, we're doing a special promotion. You can take out your phone to scan this QR code. We usually charge about $10 for the live stream, but we're giving it for free this time, only for you guys. Basically, it's a form for you to fill out to tell us so we can collect your email so we can send you the live stream link. This is going to be a really cool concert featuring this Year of the Snake piece as well as other pieces by other Asian composers like Vivian Hamilton and other composers. It's played by University of Michigan students as well as a lot of local community. We're also partnering with local businesses to host a reception. Last year, our concert, we were about like, what, 50 people, and we had like 500 dumplings. So I like, nobody ate all of them, so I like take them home and ate dumplings for like a whole week. It was like the best week of my life. It was great. Yeah, so if you can check in the live streams on Sunday, April 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Great. That's it! Yay! Thank you again, Furman, to invite us here.